Manage your money in a way that helps you not sleep at night. That's different from saying you should aim to earn the highest returns or savings specific percentage of your income. Some people won't sleep well unless they're earning the highest returns. Others will only get a good rest if they're conservative invested. To each their own, but the foundational. Does this help me sleep at night? It's the best universal guided post for all financial decisions. If you want to do better as an investor, the single most powerful thing you can do is increase your time horizon. Time is the most powerful force in investing. It makes the little things grow big and big mistakes fade away. It cannot neutralize luck and risk, but it pushes result closer towards what people deserve. Because a small minority of things, it can afford the majority of outcomes. No matter what you're doing with your money, you should be comfortable with a lot of stuff not working. That's just how the world is. So you should always measure how you've done by looking at your full portfolio rather than individual investments. Use money to gain control over your time. Because not having control of your time is such a powerful and universal drag on happiness. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, as long as you want to, pays the highest dividend existence in finance. No one is impressed with your possessions as much as you are. You may think you want a fancy car or a nice watch, but what you probably want is respect and admiration. But saving for things that are impossible to predict or define is one of the best reasons to say everyone's life is in a continuous chain of surprises. Savings that aren't unmarked for anything in particular is a hedge against life's inevitable ability to surprise the hell out of them at the worst possible moment. Because nothing worthwhile is free, and remember that most financial costs don't have visible price tags. Uncertainty, doubt, and regret are common costs in the finance world. They're often worth paying, but you have to view them as being a price within paying to get something that's in exchange, rather than fines and a penalty you should avoid. Worship room for error. Okay. A gap between what could happen in the future and what you need to happen in the future in order to do well is what gives an endurance. And the endurance is what makes it compound the magic over time. Room for error often looks like in a conservative hedge, but if it keeps you in the game, it can pay for itself many times over. Avoid an extreme answer in financial decisions. Everyone's goals and the desires will change over time, and the more extreme your past decisions were, the more you may regret them as you evolve. Define the game you're playing and make sure your actions are not being influenced by people playing a different game. Okay, respect the mass. Smart, informed, and reasonable people can disagree in finance because people have vastly different goals and desires. This is no single right answer, just the answer that works for you. Now, let me tell you what works for me. Well, okay, what works for you? Confessions. The psychology of my own money. Just show me what you do with your own money. The difference between what someone suggests you do and what they do for themselves isn't always a bad thing. It just underscores that when dealing with complicated, and the emotional issues that affect you and your family, there is no right answer. There is no universal truth. There is only what works for you and your family, checking the boxes you want checked in a way that leaves you comfortable and sleeping well at night. We can live aside rich, but independence has always been my personal financial goal. Independence, always, okay? Chasing the highest returns and leveraging my assets to live the most luxurious life has a little interest to me, okay? We are so far committed to the independence camp that we've done things that makes a little sense of paper. We own our house with a mortgage, which is the worst finance decisions we ever made, but the best money decisions we ever made. Mortgage interest rates were absurdly low when we bought our house. Any rational advisor would recommend taking advantage of cheap money and investing in extra savings in high return assets like stocks. But our goal isn't to be coldly rational, just psychologically reasonable. Eliminating the monthly payment feels better than maximizing the long-term value of our assets. It makes me feel independent. I don't try to be dependent decisions those pointing out as flaws are those who will never do the same. On paper, it's defenseless, but it works for us. We like it, that's what matters. Good decisions aren't always rational. At some point, you have to choose between being happy or being right. Yeah, so we do it because it catches oxygen of independence. And the more importantly, we never want to be forced to sell the stocks we own. We want the probability of facing a huge expense and needing to liquidate stocks to cover it to be as closer to zero as possible. Perhaps we just have a lower risk tolerance than others. 아이고, 아이고 힘들어요. I'm sorry. But everything we've learned about the personal finance tells me that everyone, with an exception, will eventually face a huge expense they did not expect, and they don't plan for those expenses specifically because they didn't expect them. The few people who know the details of their financial ask, "What are you saving for? A house? A boat? A new car?" No, none of those. I'm saving for a world where coverables are more common than we expect. Nothing forced to sell stocks and recovering expense also means we are increasing the odds of letting the stocks we own compound for the longest period of time. The first rule of compounding is never interrupted unnecessarily. Beating the market should be hard. The odds are No, the odds of success in it should be low. If they weren't, everyone would do it. And if everyone did it, there would be no opportunity. So, no one should be surprised that the majority of those who trying to beat the market fail to do so. We invest money from paycheck into these index funds, a combination of US and international stocks. There is no set goal. It's just whatever is left over after we spend. We max our retirement accounts in the same funds and contribute to our kids' 529 college saving plans. And that's about it. Effectively, all of our net worth is a house and checking account and some Vanguard index fund. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that for us. I like it simple. One of my deeply held investment beliefs is that there are a little correlation between investment effort and the investment results. The reason is because the world is driven by tails. A few barriers account for measurable returns. No matter how hard you try investing, you won't do well if you miss on two of three things that move the needle in your strategy. The reverse is true. Simple investment strategies can work great as long as they capture the few things that are important to the strategy's success. My investing strategy doesn't rely on picking the right sector or timing the next recession. It relies on a high saving rate, patience, and optimism that the global economy will create a value over the next several decades. I spend virtually all of my investing effort thinking about those three things, especially the first two, which I can control. Yeah, so the first two is it relies on a high saving rate and patience. High saving rates and patience. I've changed my investment strategy in the past, so of course there's a chance I will change it in the future. No matter how we save or invest, I'm sure we'll always have the goal of independence. That's true. Goal of independence. And we'll always do whatever maximizes enough for sleeping well at night. We think it's an ultimate goal, the master of psychology, but each their own. No one is crazy. Okay.